All right, so let's take a look to see what happened in the markets today, Tuesday, March 16th. And we're going to do this in 5 minutes or less. Well, tomorrow is the Fed meeting, and today was a let's wait and see day. Let's take a look at the indices and see what's happening. So as you can see, the Dow here is still hovering around record highs, but finished down 0.4% today. The S&P was pretty much unchanged today, so as you can see, just flat at minus 0.16%, so not a whole lot going on here. And the NASDAQ actually today gained 0.5%, but if you look at the candle that we have here, you see it was going higher, lower, and at the end of the day, we basically finished where we opened. By the way, fun fact, exactly 1 year ago today, on March 16th, 2020, the Dow dropped 12.9%, the second biggest one-day drop since World War II. And now we're making new record highs. What a difference a day makes, right? Anyhow, so what was happening today? What was driving the market? Well, first of all, this morning, February retail data was released, and they came in worse than expected. As you can see here, they were expected to come in at 0.2% and came in at minus 0.27%. But it looks worse than it actually is, because keep in mind that in February we had this crazy winter storm. So we already expected a pretty big impact from this. And by the way, here, January's retail sales figure was revised from 5.3 to 7.6 and 8.3 respectively. So markets largely ignored this number altogether and say, all right, whatever, so it's all good. And see, overall, we're still getting great news from the coronavirus front. Let me bring this up here, because as you can see, thus far, this year from the CDC, and thus far 111 million vaccines have been delivered. And so this means that we have around 21% of the total population, but here most importantly 28% of Americans over 18 have received at least one vaccine dose. And in the last week, an average of 2.43 million doses were administered per day. But you see, to be honest, the markets right now, the big event this week is the Fed meeting that is going to happen tomorrow. So tomorrow is the big day. And you see, market participants are waiting on the updated economic projections from the Fed, and also the path for interest rates. And traders are super curious what Fed Chairman Powell has to say in tomorrow's news conference. That is the FOMC statement here, because that is actually the key event of the week. So let's see what individual stocks did, and we're taking a look at the map from Finviz here. And as always, we have the line going through right here. As you can see, Microsoft up 1.24%, Apple 1.27%, Facebook up. So overall, tech were up today. After all, NASDAQ was up 0.5%. And everything else a little bit down today, but not a whole lot. But let's take a look at a few stocks that made headlines today. And the first one here was Moderna. And as you can see, Moderna actually finished, where do we have it here, 8.6% higher after they said that they moved to phase 2 out of 3 for their KidCove study. And in this study, they're testing a COVID vaccine for children aged 6 months to 12 years. And since they moved into phase 2, that is actually good news, and this is why they jumped up today. Now, on the other hand, Nikola today, they dropped 7.1% approximately after they said that they will raise more money and sell 100 million worth of shares. And this is why the market said, okay, more shares means it's a little bit more diluted, not a whole lot, but 100 million is a pretty big number, and that's why we had the drop here. Now, in other news, talking about recovery stocks, let's take a look at NCLH, Norwegian Cruise Lines, and they ended down today almost 4.7% after they said that they were extending the suspension of cruises for another month. and now we have no cruises until at least June 30th, which, you know, is fine with me. I don't want to go on a cruise right now anyhow. So we also have to take a look at Gamestop. So Gamestop continues its wild ride, and over the past few days, as you can see, we basically dropped down from 350 to today around 172. So this here is a 50% dip. That's crazy. So today GME finished 5.44% lower, which, as you can see when we are zooming in here, it's pretty much unchanged for this stock. So anyhow, what's in store for this week? What can we expect looking at the markets? Now, as I said, for the past few weeks, traders have been worried about inflation and interest rates rising, so all eyes are tomorrow on the Fed statement, especially Fed Chair Powell's remark during his news conference. And until then, the markets will be, I think, pretty quiet, but based on the statement, we could see a wild ride tomorrow afternoon. Anyhow, this wraps up today's stock market news in 5 minutes or less, and always keep in mind, trade what you see and not what you think, and I will see you in the next video. Have a great rest of your day.